Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have a very popular guest. Robin Magargal is going to be joining us today. We're going to ask him some questions about the local bass scene and how to catch them. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm sure he's going to be a popular podcast. He's certainly a big media influencer as far as San Diego bass fishing goes. So really looking forward to this one. Got a lot of questions to ask him, and he's one of the good guys for sure. So let's get him on here. Okay, so welcome, Rob McGargle, to San Diego Bass Fishing Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure a lot of viewers are looking forward to this one also.
Well, I appreciate being here.
No problem. So just to start things off, where did you come from? Have you been in San Diego all your life, or did you move here? When did you start bass fishing?
Oh, wow. No, I'm born and raised. I'm San Diego native. Moved out to the East County 1973. And my first taste of the East County was Lindo Lake. Way back, that tiny pond. It was actually a fun lake back in 73.
I was gonna say, was it pretty good bass fishing back then? I mean, go down the shore, catch them on a buzzbait.
No, God, 73. I wasn't worried about that. I was just trying to go fishing. No, it was crappies and bluegills for me back then. I don't even think I caught my first bass until maybe I was 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, me too. I caught my bass when I was 12.
Yeah, and that was at San Vicente. So that was really fun. I actually caught it on the sink. Didn't realize what was going on. I'm like, how deep is this lake?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but actually that's what got me like, whoa, this bass stuff is different than a crappie.
Yeah. So it kind of just grow for you, or it just kind of ramped up? Because I mean, you fish a lot now.
Well, yeah, I fish probably more than I should, but don't tell anybody that. No one else is going to be listening to this but us, right? We're
right. Yeah.
No,
awesome.
I started fishing with my dad when I was a kid, and like I said, he would take me places, and we'd go to the bay, or we'd go out to Cuyamaca Lake, or we'd go to these other little lakes. I never was in a boat or anything, but just catching a couple fish, that's all it took. I mean, then as soon as I could ride my bike and be alone by myself, it was grab my pole, get my bike, and I was off fishing on every weekend. So guitar and fishing, man, they've just been linked with since I was a kid.
Right. So are you a guitar? I don't want to say guitar tech. I mean, you work at Taylor Guitars, which is here in San Diego. And what do you do there at Taylor Guitars?
Well, I actually train people globally how to repair guitars.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you would call me a master repairman for instruments, finishing and crack repair, fretting, things along those lines. I mean, I've been doing that there for 33 years.
Yeah.
Doing that previously, at another job for 8 years before that. So my whole working career, honestly, has been 2 jobs. One at a music store and then one at Taylor, just doing instrument repair.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you take your finishing tools and repair some or refinish your NRXs.
I did.
They turned out nice.
I did refinish some of my own fishing rods. And what was funny is I actually emailed Loomis, and I had some buddies there with Shimano, and they own Loomis. They're like, you're probably one of the only people that we'd actually allow to sand on these rods. And
yeah.
They
don't want a flat spot.
How great. They're fishing great. So, I don't care. I wanted to keep them. I didn't want to replace them. So I just refinished them.
Yeah. That's cool. That's nice. So I've, in the last few podcasts that I've done, I've had some guys on here that have talked about the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and how it was. But I got you on here, and I want to know how the bass fishing is now. Like, what is going on right now in the bass fishing scene in San Diego? Whether it's, I mean, are you chasing breakers? Are you throwing little stuff? Are you flipping? Can you tell me? Can you get me in the right direction?
Yeah, well, for me, you know that I'm not a tournament fisherman, so I'm going out there,
Yeah, I know.
lock into a single lake as much as I possibly can. And I even told you this year, we were talking earlier, I said, okay, I'm going to focus on Lake Jennings and I'm going to focus on Otay. Those were the two lakes I was going to focus on this year. I don't mind fishing all of them, and still, but I had a couple I wanted to focus on. Too bad Jennings, they dropped the water 30 feet, so that just kind of disappeared there.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
my son and I are going to go back there, though. We know that once it's stabilized, they didn't get rid of any of the fish, so we're going to go back there.
Yeah.
But for me, man, I'm telling you, what I have been noticing at these lakes is there. It's really changed to more of a finesse thing for me, and I really like to power fish. And the power fishing, it doesn't seem to happen all day like it used to in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
At least not for me. I'm noticing windows of opportunity, things along those lines, but definitely more of a finesse version of that type of fishing. At least for me, I don't know what you're running into.
So as far as that goes, I mean, if you like flipping, and I know you use straight braid a lot,
Mhm.
are you putting a leader on there? Are you putting like a piece of 20 pound in front of your flipping rod?
No, I'm still a straight braid guy unless I'm doing something with my super light braids. And if I'm going 6 to 8 pound braid, then I'm probably going to put a leader on there. But all I'm going to do is downsize my braid. So instead of flipping a
Oh,
foot,
okay.
I'm gonna flip 15 pound. I'm gonna do something along those that allow it to slide and fall a little bit easier through areas. I may downsize my bait, downsize my hook, still a heavier wire, but a smaller hook. Something so when I set the hook on
Yeah.
with braid, I can still, not straighten the hook out. And what that thinner braid will do is will allow the bait to slide. If I'm going over toolies or things like that, you put a small bait and 40-pound braid, the braid holds up the bait, it doesn't sink. So, you got to balance out what you're tossing.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. Yeah. I felt that way with smaller frogs too. I've started using a 3 power rod with 30 pound braid and on the smaller live targets and whatever, and have been having a lot better luck with that as far
That's
as
it, right?
fishing the small ones go.
You just said it right there. It's like, so I'll flip a Cinco up in where a frog would go, or a fluke up texposed with 30 braid versus throwing a frog with
Yeah.
50. And I am getting better results in some instances, not every, but in many instances, I'm getting really good results.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just got fresh 30 is really strong. I don't think people give it enough credit. A nice fresh tie of 30-pound fresh braid is quite strong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've gotten all my spinning reels, which I use for clients and whatever. I'm in the guide business. They've all got 10 pound braid on them now. Just straight across the board. I loaded them up all at 10 pound. The braid doesn't break.
No,
That's not the weak point.
no,
Yeah. So and it's
no. You
so
got
much easier to use when you're going with a thin braid.
Yeah, and then you can go anywhere from your 6-pound leader to your 20-pound leader on your 10-pound braid. So you can kind of fish that anywhere. Your customers will have a good time.
Yeah. 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 It works out well for us so far.
Yeah,
And I like the light green too. Of course, I fish a lot of leaders, and I know you go straight braid, but I tend to fish a lot of leaders. But so I use the bright green, and it's easy to see when
sure,
it
sure.
jumps. I
With
like
my
to see it jump.
Yeah, you want to see that line twitch. I will say that some of the
Yeah.
are so light and they're black, I can't see them. When that stuff's on the water and there's a little bit of chop, I don't even know that the line is there. So, but I will throw a lead.
Sure. Yeah.
If I'm worming, if I'm doing my forward sonar stuff and I'm throwing a drop shot, I'm definitely going to have a swim through leader, as I call it. I don't know if I should call it that. I think I got that from someone else, and that's just basically enough leader to where if your bait's down sitting on the bottom, you've got 5 or 6 feet. So when a fish is down there, it doesn't notice the knot and the braid color difference. It just, it can only see the bait and whatever fluorocarbon, pretty much is invisible. But less that, I'm going to be throwing pretty much straight braid, fluke, Cinco, top water, anything like that, wake baits, anything that's going to be straight braid.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how's Otay fishing? Is it biting, or
Oh,
has it been kind of tough?
well, um, I think that's all personal dependent, but Otay for me has been absolutely fantastic this year. I mean, literally for the past, I want to say 2.5 to 3 months, it has literally been so much fun. I mean, last week we got what did we get? 18-pound limit on average. I'm getting,
Wow.
18, 20-pound limits.
Wow.
I'm finding fish grouped up though. So that's the issue. So you can go there. So here you're going to get a 20-pound limit. You're going to an 18-pound limit. You're not. Unless you find the spot. If you find the area where they're grouped up, they're going to bite. And you can get 6 to 8 of them super quick. And if you find the right group of fish, they're all in a 3.5 to 4.5 pound range.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, so that's just kind of where it's working out. And I'm also learning that if you're catching the smaller fish on the worms in that area, throw a different bait for the larger fish.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw a
Kind of switch it up.
Switch it up. Throw a bigger crankbait over those brush piles or rock areas where you fish in versus throwing another worm or something along those lines. And that tends to grab a bigger fish out of the school of fish.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed one thing. I call them switch up baits. I'll be catching them one way a lot of times, like on a green gizzard crankbait, whatever. And I catch them and then they stop biting and I switch up to like a red craw crankbait or even a fire tiger and boom, I start catching, at least you catch one or two more.
Get a couple bites. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of times those are the biggest fish.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird.
It's interesting like that. I still think that there is that thing where, like, if you're thinking breakers and you're throwing out and you see the schoolies on the top, there are bigger fish underneath. You just have to get to them. Okay, yeah. So on that slow bait, all the smaller 2.5 pounders, 2 pounders, 1 3/4 are all going around that bait, and the big fish are like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Then you throw that by them all of a sudden, and the little fish are like, no, I wanted that worm, and the big one's like, I get my chance. Here's my chance, bite, and then so I like that whole switch up thing. It definitely works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right on. So, have you seen much breakers out there yet? I mean, like out in the middle. I heard there's a little bit of action, but not a lot.
This last weekend when I was out there, we a couple of fish came up in the area we were fishing. I mean, like literally right within casting distance. Yeah. And then using forward sonar, we're able to find out where they went, and we ended up getting a limit doing that. But we didn't leave that area. We didn't care where those fish went because those were the 1 3/4 pounders.
Yeah.
So we were already on fish that were larger. So it's like, okay, this was just like a bonus. They popped up. We could catch a few of them. And
sure.
Then where we were at. Wasn't worth chasing that.
Do you think it's just time of the year? Like maybe it's going to happen later, or do you think that with the higher water level that stuff, a lot of that stuff's going to stay back on shore?
I think it's because of the higher water level that we're not seeing yet. And I remember in years past when the water stayed up super high. I mean, it's going to happen because the bait's going to leave and it's going to do what it's going to do. Right. We'll get some busters, but it seems that the busters are always best when the water is, at least in front of the tulies and not behind the tulies.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm waiting for.
Trust me, I've got every rod set up in my boat waiting for it. I want to go check them, and I mean, if that's a bite, I'm on it. So
yeah. So you're a big proponent of forward-facing sonar. Like,
yes,
like when that came out, you were one of the first guys to really promote it or show how good it is, and look at these fish on my sonar and watch me cast and catch them.
It's what the forward sonar did for me? It changed my entire outlook of what bass are doing. And I know I am not the only one who's ever said that, but I have realized now that, fish don't slow down in the winter. Some do, not all of them.
Yeah.
Some are on the move continually. Some are eating just like they would if it was 75-degree water. That's the thing that I have really, that's really changed my entire outlook of what I should be doing in the wintertime. And then just the idea of seeing what's going on under the surface has just been, it's been eye-opening to me, and I just really enjoy it. And I think it actually brings more joy to me for fishing, because I mean, you're not always going to catch them. You see them, but you're learning more at the same time. But I'm not gonna, I can't discount it. My catch ratio has gone up significantly in the past 2-3 years of having the sonar versus not having it. So
Yeah.
discount
Yeah.
that at all. But it's taught me more also to when I'm not using it. I can go, these fish are doing this. This is what I remember them doing and why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then fishing without it and doing fairly well. Like, say I'm in the back seat of someone's boat. I'm thinking about what's going on and what would they be doing, especially if I land a fish. So
Yeah.
it's been interesting. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I firmly believe if you can afford it and you can put it on your boat, get it. But it is not the end all of you catching a zillion fish. This is a learning experience. I'm sure you've learned that one, that you have to get out there and practice with it and make it part of your situation, not the situation.
Oh man, it's such a learning curve. It
Yeah.
was and just getting used to seeing how many fish are out there and how many don't bite. Like just the refusal after refusal, and it really, in the first 2 weeks, boy, it really hits your psyche. It messes with your head, and
Oh, I
then
totally
it's
remember when we
oh
first,
yeah.
I was like, be careful. This could change your mindset of what you're doing.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like all of a sudden, just and then trying to catch them, and then but then there's the learning curve, and you do start catching them, even though, and you just get used to the fact of how many are out there and how many you have to cast to
Right.
before you can start putting them on the boat or getting them to bite, or what you have to do, whatever, to get them to bite.
Yeah. One of the things my son and I have came that has really been one of those like mind-blowing situations is how many fish are directly under your trolling motor all the time.
Yeah,
I,
right. They don't bite, but they're there.
I've caught so much fish now, whether it's 8 foot of water, 20 foot of water, it doesn't matter. I'm like, there's a fish under the boat right now, and I just drop my worm down, or
Yeah.
and boom, I caught the fish directly under the boat.
Yeah, always surprises me.
Without the forward sonar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just been an eye opening right there.
I wouldn't have caught some of the best fishing I've had this year. I wouldn't have found them without the forward fishing. And it wasn't like I was targeting single fish. It was that they were like in the mud and I found the school. Like I wouldn't have gone in that direction,
Exactly.
or even cast out there
Yeah.
without that thing. But then I saw them, and it wasn't like fish. It was like bumps
Yeah.
that weren't supposed to be there. They were like on the bottom. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'll just throw it. It ain't gonna hurt. I'll just throw a Carolina rig out there, and boy, look out! That was
But
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's been an interesting thing. Now I will say, for people who are going to be listening to this and thinking of forward sonar, I actually talked to a couple of one of the junior bass angler team this past couple of weeks. Is that everything isn't video game fishing with forward sonar?
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Oh,
all
absolutely. Oh, yeah, yeah,
bite it. It's like what you just said. There's some bumps out there.
yeah,
I'm just going to cast out there.
yeah.
And now you're fishing. The idea
Oh,
is
yeah.
find them, be in the area, and then don't forget that you're fishing. Just go fishing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a hybrid. There's the looking at the single fish and you're fishing for it, but then there's also using it as for an area or seeing fish in the area and doing that and being able to go from one to the other and or combining the two.
Right.
That's to me, that's the future, or that's what is really going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to. Eventually the forward sonar is just going to be like everyone else. We've all got a graph on our boat, but eventually everyone's going to have the forward sonar. It's just how it's going to be.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, back east, that's the way it is already. It's just, it's taken a while for it to catch up out here on the West Coast.
Well, it's pricey. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
in another 10 years, it's probably going to be just another screen on your graph, like down scan or side scan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of funny to me to not see a transducer on somebody's motor. It kind of on their trolling motor kind of makes it look naked. Thank God they don't have
Well,
forward
I don't
facing over there.
one on top of their bullet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So so do you have any light line techniques you might want to share with us? Like uh just have you got a new sonar minnow in the works?
No, but I'm always looking. I mean, that is something that I'm always doing. But honestly, I just like the Yum Sonar minnow.
Isn't that a good bait?
It's honestly, it's better than the clone fry. I hate to say that as much as I love the clone fry for like the past 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
But the Sonar minnow, it has better colors. It's a tougher plastic. It weighs a little more. It lasts longer.
Yeah.
I catch absolutely just as many fish, if not more fish, using it. Matter of fact, that was one of the baits I used this last weekend with a little tiny little 30-second out jig head on it, just to let it get under the surface a little bit because they weren't biting on the surface.
Yeah.
And I got 3 fish doing that when that little school of fish that were hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and and I'm all about finding a new bait, but if I find something, I'm probably not going to search much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. And it what, 350, 375 for a pack of 10?
Right?
I'm like, I don't know where else I need to go now to do it. Because what I learned with these baits, and I think this is very important for your listeners, if they're fly line, thin braid, type fishermen going after these breakers, it isn't the length or the height of the bait, it's the width.
And that's where the sonar minnow really shines.
That's where it shines, and that's where the clone fry shined also.
Yeah, they were browned.
Yeah, and what that does is it gives you weight, so you can cast it, so it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't blown in the wind. It floats really nice, and it swims really nice. And then when you put a jig head on it, it just doesn't fall apart on you. I mean, it's easier to put a jig head and make it nice and straight and keep it clean. You don't have to, sit there and try to do it 6 times to get it straight.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Now that's in my. I think I probably have 15 bags in the boat right now.
With as long as they last, that's good for the year.
Well, because I am sorry, but I am tired of baits disappearing. I'm tired of finding.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, we discontinued it. So I'm just what am I doing? Oh, I got paid. Let me buy 5 more bags.
Mm-hmm.
What's $23 at Tackle Warehouse for that? You know what I mean? To me, that's a day's fishing. That's launching my boat and going fishing.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. So have you been at San Vicente lately, or El Cap, or are you just really focused on Otay?
I've been to Sutherland a few times. El Cap. I've stayed away from San Vicente. I mean, I went there a few times, but then once ski season starts,
Yeah.
that's just not my cup of tea. And I know people like the wakes, and it does this for their crankbaits or whatever, type of fishing they like. It's not for me. That's where I'm going to focus on other lakes. So I'm going to go to Sutherland. I'll go to El Cap, of course. El Cap, my tweener lake. When I'm in between fishing lakes I really want to fish, and something else is going on at those lakes, and you'll probably see me at El Cap.
Right. Right.
But
Right
Sutherland's fun.
Well, yeah. Boy, it sure seems kind of spot specific right now. But
Extremely spot specific.
we got a tournament out there next week
Good luck
with the Bassmasters.
How many boats?
20. I'm hoping for 20. Yeah.
You hope you get the first 5 of the draw.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see a lot of movement going on. You know,
Oh,
you're gonna get to your spot and hope for the best, really.
we've I've gone out there a couple times now, a few times, and each time I've gone out, it has been spot specific of where I'm at. Two or three at this spot, two or three at that spot,
Yes, yes. Yeah.
and I'm just hope that my timing is right when I can get to those areas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's a few hidden rock piles or whatever that people,
Oh,
you know, they're a little bit offshore and in the right zone still. I'm hoping it'll still be open, you know, in the middle of the day. Actually, it's going to be like a 6 hour tournament because it's after June 15th, and that's when the DFG uh, makes us go to 6 hour tournaments. So it's going to be a short day.
that's super short. I mean,
Yeah.
that's good enough to be able to do whatever you guys are doing after for your weigh-ins and stuff, and then just relaunch your boat and go fishing.
Well, that's exactly what I said already. I was telling the tournament director, I'm like, I'm just going to keep my boat in there and just go fishing again.
Well, one thing that they did do, I don't know if you've been up there recently, is they moved the courtesy fishing float. Okay,
Hmm.
it's alongside the boat dock now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so you have room to put boats and tie them off and everything. So that's been really good.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Super happy about that, about being able to get in and out of that lake real easy and get your car, especially if you're going up there as a single. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yep. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. I cut out for a second.
Nope, I'm still here.
All right, great. Yeah. So, all right. Well, do you have anything to close up with? Do
Man, just be
you want to
ready.
hit up your sponsors?
Oh, come on, everyone knows what I do and who and what I fish with. I mean, I'm a Loomis Shimano. I'm pretty much straightforward. I don't really have any sponsors, even though I've worked with several people over the years. I'm just a
Yeah.
dude fishing, man. You know me.
Oh, yeah. I know. I love my Shimano's also. My Anorexes are just the best thing. And when I pick up that Mentanium, it's just like, oh, I love this
Wait,
reel.
but these right here?
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
No, I've been cleaning my reels. My boat's having issues right now, so I didn't do that junior English tournament this Sunday. I have
Oh, okay.
on and off stuff with my troller right now. It works, and then it decides it's not going to. But that's
Uh-huh.
we don't need to go there. So
Right, right, right. Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. Had a great time, and I really appreciate it.
hey, no problem, man. Anytime you let me know, I'm here for you.
Okay, I'm sure I'm going to call you in the future.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Talk to you later.
All right, see you. Bye.